Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're going to be talking about the whole Unity mess that's been going on this week. It was announced earlier this week that Unity was going to have pricing changes, and it's had a negative fallout for the company. But before we go any further, I would like to welcome you guys back to the channel. My name is Gumurak. I am a variety streamer over on Twitch, and I like to cover some of the topics and things that happen throughout the gaming industry. And man, do we have one for you this week. Unity, in a stroke of genius, decided to drop a new pricing plan that basically punishes all small developers in the Unity space altogether. They're going to be charged 20 cents per install of their game, which may also include demos in some cases, but they haven't really clarified that very much. Now, this has been talked about till we're blue in the face, but the one thing that hasn't been talked about is why it's happening. It's been kind of a weird discussion that everyone wants to know why the company is behaving in this manner. Well, we have an idea and we can certainly go through it. And this is all on the basis of the numbers that they provided. Anybody who owns stock in a company and is a shareholder has access to some kind of shareholder information. And that information is not held to any kind of NDA. You can share it openly. It's on the website and available to people. So on investors.unity.com, which is provided by Unity, you can get a hold of the shareholders letter. Just getting a hold of the shareholders letter, you can blatantly see what's going on here, in which quarter 2 and quarter 3 of 2022 was reported at a net loss. Quarter 2 had an announcement of the net loss to its shareholders, in which they immediately followed up a class action lawsuit that happened to have stated that on May 10th, 2022, after the market closed, Unity announced its first quarter 2022 financial results. The company also reduced its fiscal 2022 guidance due to challenges with monetization products. Specifically, a fault in Unity's platform resulted in reduced accuracy for its audience pinpointer tool, a revenue-expensive issue given that the pinpointer tool experienced significant growth past the IDFA changes. On this news, Unity's stock fell $17, or 37%, to close at $30.30 per share on May 11th, 2022, thereby injuring its investors. The rug pull that happened after that from the number of investors that pulled out of Unity was quite significant, and so much so that it shows in their quarter 2 and quarter 3 results. When you look at the shareholder letter, it states, "We are pleased with the progress. In the first half of the year, we are committed to creating shareholder value through revenue growth, margin expansion, and free cash flow per share. We became profitable on an adjustable EBITDA basis in the fourth quarter of 2022 and have been building margins ever since then." Essentially, what this has been happening here is that there was a class action lawsuit based on the investors losing a bunch of money due to some misrepresentation of their company and the things that they were going to be able to do and provide fiscally throughout the year. Because of that resulted in a massive loss for the company, which is the reason why they pushed out their new updates, which included AI that spiked up their prices again for Unity, knowing that they were going to be making more money than ever. But because they had such damages to the company and its shareholders at the time, they need to make up for that by making the company as profitable as possible, which is the reason why their focus has been totally on profit. It also is the reason why they made the changes that they have. Why they made these changes without discussing it with their shareholders, I don't know. Now, according to everything that we know about shareholders and stockholders in general, do they make those decisions for the company? No. But most of the time, investors are interested in what you're going to be doing with your company and either to keep your money invested, but yet they made these changes without naturally bringing it to the investors, without having it be just a short snippet inside of their actual shareholder letter. They mention that they're going to be making changes, but they don't tell you exactly what it is because they have control of their company and it's not really your business. So what's happening with Unity is you're looking at a pure section of greed, and either to make up for their losses and either to uphold things for their stakeholders. That's going to come at a cost, and the cost is essentially the same thing as tipping inside of a restaurant. They want the developers to take care of the pricing increases because the average people are not able to afford their own rent currently, let alone price increases. Therefore, in order to control the market and how much money they're going to make, they need to make it more difficult on developers so that developers charge more money. When developers charge more money, then the prices for the stockholders go up. Now, why they would do this, I have no idea considering how profitable they are currently. So when your company is profitable, why would you want to juice your community harder and either to make sure that you make as much money as possible? Well, the only answer to that is that they lost out big on that lawsuit. We're talking about a company here that has made $533 million compared to its $510 million and $520 million previous to that. And that's only per quarter. There's 4 quarters in a year. So you're looking at a multi-billion-dollar company. So why did Unity take this route? Because they already know that such a large share of the market being used on their system, that there's going to be some developers that can just eat this cost and not give a shit, and that is the only people that they're focused on. The small developers are pretty much what they're trying to get rid of because it's costing the company money. Essentially, what you are seeing here is a shift from the company altogether to be completely focused as being a product for AAA studios. Previously, the model was designed for smaller developers so that they can get their name out there. Now, with how much money that they're making, they honestly believe that they can take the hit from these developers and keep on chugging along because their company is worth $500+ million every fucking quarter. According to the Unity Reddit, you have some companies that are actually talking about backing out now, and you know that you fucked up real big when the companies put out official statements saying exactly that. We'll take Megacrit from Slay the Spire that says, despite the immense amount of time and effort our team has already poured into development on our new title, we will be migrating to a new engine unless the changes are completely reverted and terms of service protections are put into place. We have never made a public statement before. That is how badly you fucked up. When companies and developers are willing to go out and tell you directly to your face, you fucked up in bold print, where everybody can see it, you certainly made some mistakes. Innersloth from Among Us says, this would harm not only us, but fellow game studios of all budgets and sizes. If this goes through, we'll delay content and features our players actually want to port our games elsewhere, as others are also considering. But many developers won't have the time or means to do the same. Stop it. What the fuck? Gary Newman over at Rust says, it's our fault. All of our faults. We sleepwalked into it. We had a ton of warnings. We should have been pressing the eject button when Unity IPO'd in 2020. Every single thing they've done since then has been the exact opposite of what was good for the engine. We had 10 years to make our own engine and never did. I'm sure a lot of game companies are feeling the same today. Let's not make the mistake again. Rust 2 definitely won't be a Unity game. And George Broussard over at 3D Realms has said the Unity board needs to call for resignations. Start with John Riccatello and most of the exec teams responsible for the design and communication of this atrocious idea. They are destroying Unity. Act swiftly. Only with heads on a spike will some semblance of trust be restored. You have game developers that are out here literally telling you in bold print that you screwed up and that they won't be using your services anymore. And one of the reasons why these services continue to be great into place anyways is because they created an engine, and not every company has the ability to create an engine. That used to be the reason why games took so long for us to get them. When we were younger and in the 90s, we had a game explosion because a company would develop their own engine and then make a whole suite of games on that engine. Well, now they have engines that are just readily available to them. And now we see the cost of using somebody else's engine without checking the fine print and looking at the stakeholder numbers. Unity is the very definition of not giving a fuck about their player base and their development base after they have built their backs on the grounds of free development. It's the very definition of greed that has turned this company into the whining child of the gaming industry by saying, I'm the eldest, I get what I want. I have a huge amount of respect for the amount of developers that are coming out and stating that they are no longer going to use Unity or speaking their minds about it in general. Because frankly, this whole situation is fucked up. What I don't have respect for is a company that decides to juice their customer base on both sides of the fence and either make themselves as profitable as possible and puts that in bold text. Thank you guys for watching the video today, and I'd love to hear your opinions about everything that's going on down below. We are very close to hitting our goal of 1,000 subscribers for the year. We are at 903 of 1,000, and I can't thank you guys enough because without you, there would be no channel. If you'd like to see more game and other news and game coverage, make sure you hit that subscription button, hit the bell notification to know when I put up a new video. I appreciate every one of you that consider it. Thank you very much. And I hope you guys have an amazing week. Tell your loved ones you love them often. Peace.